It's like, if you want to know what your problems are, learn human design and astrology.
Yeah.
And those, they will show, like, you already know this is your problem. You know what I mean? But if you want
Right.
confirmation and then you want the details, this
Yeah.
is design and astrology. You know what I mean?
Are you ready to discover who you came here to be? Welcome to the Human Design and Astro Club podcast. Human design is a system and a tool that is here to empower you and show you your greatest potential. Come learn with us and discover who you really are.
Welcome to the Human Design and Astro Club podcast. And this is the podcast you've been waiting for. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. I feel like I'm always trying to do like cheerleading moves. If you're over on YouTube, remember when we used to dance?
We did used to dance. I kind of had it in me this week. I was like, oh, we
Yeah.
should do a little dance move.
Yeah. We're always changing things up around here. So, welcome to the Human Design and Astro Club podcast, and welcome to the program recap. I'm Krystle. I am a 1-3 sacral generator, rising Capricorn, Sagittarius sun, and an Aries moon.
And I'm Leah. I'm a 2-4 splenic projector, Aquarius sun, Taurus moon, and Libra rising.
And so, as you can see, we are talking about the transits for our, these are our bi-weekly episodes. So this episode, as I just shared, is the program recap where we talk about the transits. We are the one of the only. I don't want to say the only. And when I see people say stuff like that, I'm like, are you sure?
Yeah, right.
You know what I
How do you
mean?
know?
How do you really know?
Mm-hmm.
We're one of the only human design podcasts that not only talk about human design, but we also talk about astrology and tarot and the thread that runs through.
Mm-hmm.
And we make things more practical and more tangible, ways to work with this system and really help you in your everyday life. I've been getting a lot of messages from people that have been telling me that they really have a hard time understanding the transits. Like, they've seen that we talk about the transits. I'm like, then just go freaking listen to these podcast episodes. And like, I realized people find this like it's like scary. When they like, when I hear them say it, they're like, I really would love to dive in, but it seems very complicated. I'm like, it's actually not as complicated as you think.
And I felt that way at first too,
I
for sure.
remember
Yeah,
you were very resistant to
I
me.
was. I was like, what do you mean talk about the transits? Like, no, I don't know what any of that stuff is. But actually, by doing the podcast, and if I was a listener, then I would have like a notebook and I'd have like a chart and I would write down all the different things. And just so you can kind of see how things are shifting and changing.
But it's
Yeah.
like on here, and if you're new here, welcome.
Right.
We really make the transits like practical. I explain the transits as if I was speaking to almost like my child. We're just taught all the transits are energy. So if I just explain to you energy and remove all the jargon,
Right.
then it'll make sense, because then what you get to do is you get to watch it, you get to witness it, because it's
Mhm.
happening. It's just happening. You don't have to like try to make sense of it. You hear what it means and then you watch it. You hear what it means, you take some action. You hear what it means, and maybe you don't take some action because there's a lot of stuckness and you don't want to
Yeah.
take action when there's stuckness. So the program recap episodes are where we discuss the transits through the lens of human design, astrology, and tarot. But if you enjoy human design, if you came here for the transits, but you also love human design, we also have educational episodes and interviews that are scattered throughout the show. And there is a couple new series coming up that you will definitely want to stick around for. Subscribe to the podcast and definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel,
Yeah.
because I am bringing the heat in 2024. Okay. Speaking of 2024, when you hear this episode, our yearly forecast for 2024 will be out. This is the time to pick it up, friends, because we have an early bird special for people that pick it up We opened doors on, what was it, the 4th?
Mhm.
And when is the date to pick up the early bird? Till
To the 18th.
till the 18th. So yeah, that's during this episode. So till the 18th, you'll be able to pick it up. I am putting together, first of all, it's going to be on Zoom, live. If you can't join us live, it'll be recorded. You'll get it emailed to you. And you're not only just getting either the live or the recorded version, you're also getting a care packet. I'm putting together a care packet for you guys. And you're also, if you enroll early, you're going to get an Akashic Records downloaded message for the entire year. They have been, I have never done this before with a yearly forecast. I read the records. If you don't know, I read for clients. I've read for channeled messages for the month, for the week. I've done all sorts of different ones. I've never done one for the year. So this is the first time I'm doing it for the year, but they've been poking me and saying, you have to share this message because 2024 is going to be when everything changes.
Mm-hmm.
I can't stress that enough.
Mm-hmm.
I want you guys to join, not just, because this is part of our business, but because I really want to help give you some sort of foundation for what's coming. Because there's lots and lots coming. And if you like the program, if you like the program recap, you will 150% love the yearly forecast because I'm going deep. We are diving deep. I'm also going to be giving you not only the major players of this year, but I'm also going to break down all of the moon activations for the next 12 months, which I've never done before.
Amazing.
So since we've recently closed the cosmic community, and that's what we used to do in the cosmic community, I figured, you know what? Why don't we just walk through everything? So that way you guys, again, you have that foundation so that you know how to work with this energy and use it. It's really changed our lives. It's made our lives a lot easier. And as you can see, things are about to get really shaken up. They're already getting shaken up. The first half of the year is actually going to be a lot of work. I'm sorry, guys. It's going to be a lot of work. The first 6 months, the last 6 months are going to be great for a lot of things. So I really want to prepare you guys. There's a lot to share. Just go ahead and go to the show notes down below. You'll get more of the information of what we're going to be providing for you guys, and then sign up. It is only $44. $44 if you sign up early. It'll be $55 if you wait till the end. Okay. Which is still actually not a bad price because we're probably going for, I would say, at least 2 hours live. So you're going to get 2 hours of information minimum, probably more because I'm an open throat, and we're going to allow people to also ask questions. It'll also be posted to our Vimeo, so you can comment on there as well if you can't make it to the live. So that way you're still participating. And again, you're going to get a care packet and an extra message for the year for only $44.
Oh my gosh. What the heck? That's so
I know
good.
you're like, Leah is going to try to get me to raise the price. And I've thought about it, but I can't do it for free because my defined heart says absolutely no to that with the amount of work we're both going to have to put in for this and the amount of channeling my body's going to have to do for this because I channel through the transits, if you haven't realized. And so for that reason, we do have to have a price, but I wanted it to be affordable. I wanted it to be like really where almost anybody could pick it up. I understand that sometimes people might be like, I don't really have $44. Okay, well then that's okay. But if you do, I would 150% get this. I will not disappoint you. I will not disappoint you.
No. And it's our first time ever doing it live. Like we've always done them recorded and then you can purchase them and look at them or do whatever after. But this is the first time we'll be going live. So you're not going to want to miss it.
Yeah. Yeah. So you get a chance to interact with us. You get a chance to join us live or you can join us with the recorded version as well. And it's going to be a really, really good time. We're going to make it fun. Leah's also going to walk us through the tarot. We'll be talking about numerology. There's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot. So anyways, that's what's going on. And if you're new here again, welcome. Stick around. Leah's also going to put together in this next year on the YouTube channel, because it's easier to do over there. A playlist for each of our stuff to make it easy to access, because I know that, like, we've got a lot of episodes at this point. So we're going to try to, this next year is all about organizing for us. So yeah, we're leveling up in 2024, and we're going to show you guys how to do that as well.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you wanted to say?
No, I mean, if you go on the YouTube right now, I think there's like the podcast, and there might be educational episodes as the playlist, but I'm going to sort it all out to make it easier for everybody to find.
Especially for the new series. I have 2 new series that I'm going to be doing myself. So those will have to be segmented, because I've thought about, should I just start another YouTube channel with just those things? Like, I know there's like a bunch of like big time YouTubers and I realize this is part of their part of a strategy to like have like 5 YouTubes. And I'm just like, I'm not a manifesting generator.
Oh my gosh.
But I don't know, maybe one day if it's like, it needs to be separate, that would be a response then. But I'm like, it was a thought, and I was like, no. Cause I've been really doing a lot of educating on, how to help you guys with human design and your life. But how to make it more fun. Like, when I first found human design in like 2016, there was nobody. There was no information anywhere unless you wanted to go buy classes, which is what I ended up doing. But my first stop was YouTube, as for many people. And I could not find a lick of information other than a couple weirdos that I found that I was like, no, you're not for me. And then a bunch of old bags. No offense.
Like the OGs of.
Yeah. Like really OGs.
Yeah.
And no, I'm not talking about like Karen Curry Parker. I found, where did I find her? She also, I mean, she's a manifesting generator, so she's everywhere. She's everywhere. But there was a few other like older ladies. That's why I said old bags. No offense. I'm not trying to be rude. Just trying to be funny, but it's probably not. But I was like, what language are you speaking? When I was listening to them. And I'm just, and that's one thing that I think I try to be really mindful of. Especially because a lot of people are very brand new to human design. And now that I'm deeper in, and I'm sure that I sound like I'm speaking a different language a lot, but I think a lot of people tell me that I really take this information and make it, one, sound more fun, and then make it digestible, because it's very dense, very dense.
Well, and speaking of educating and helping through human design, we have a new free guide available. Go in the show notes down below, and there's a free, what do we call it? Affirmations for the open and undefined human design centers.
Yeah, I know, it's
longest
really
title
long
in all the land.
I'm sorry. I couldn't figure out a shorter title that would explain what it is. Because we could have said affirmations for the open undefined centers, but I think, you got to have some keywords in there, and if people don't know human design. So anyway, sorry. Like, not to get into the business aspect of how we create our guides or whatever.
I just had to make sure I said it right, because I typed it so many times. I was like, okay, I know what this is supposed to say. But yeah, go ahead and grab it. It's a free guide. It's a 3-page guide, and we have affirmations for each of your open undefined centers. If you don't have a lot of open or undefined centers, it could be for a friend. You can refer them to the guide to grab it themselves.
Or you might have a loved one that does want to better understand other people. And like, you could also share that information with them. I've realized that, I think we've all realized that mental health has really taken a drop, an all-time low right now. And I've been going through it myself. And whenever I'm going through something, I think of, what tool can I create that's going to benefit me? I use affirmations and mantras in a lot of my sessions with a lot of my clients. And so I had this little light go off between those two things. And I was like, why don't we just make a little cheat sheet for you guys?
Yeah.
So that it's very simplified. Most of them are just a couple sentences. So just say it out loud, say it to yourself. It does something to you. There's something that happens when you kind of use the language of the center and reframe it. It helps you kind of reprogram those mental loops, because that's what your open centers do, is they grab onto your not self and you go into this mental whirlwind, right? But what if you had some sort of languaging to disarm it? And that's what the affirmations are for. They're here to disarm the not self. Okay. It's very simple. It's very straightforward. It's a great way to also understand the centers and the highest end of what that means. So feel free to pick it up. It's completely free. I'm right now trying to create as much free content for you guys that's going to support you, because as I just said, we're going into a really big explosive time. And I'm here to be a leader. I say that begrudgingly, because I don't really want to be one. Mentally, I don't, it's a heavy burden to be desire. I feel like anyone that's desire out there, you know what I'm talking about. We prefer to sit on the sidelines because that's transference is easier to do, right? Transference is easier to do. It's the one that's going to like probably talk the loudest, connected to your not self, right? But I know that I can show you the way. I'm not saying that I have all the answers. I definitely do not, but I do know how to help you be successful. That's what Desire is here to do. I know what's not working, what can be improved, what needs to be changed. And that's what Desire is. I'm a change maker. And I look at myself as almost like the Titanic ship is going down, people. And I'm that person in the Titanic movie that's like on the dock with all the life vests and the raft. And I'm getting everybody in. Get in. This is where we need to go next. This is to safety. And I made myself a defined heart promise, unless like something really traumatic happens, God forbid. I'm staying until 2027 at least. That's what I told myself. I came here in 2020, started Journey Through HD in 2020 at the end, mid to end of 2020. And I was called to do this. Human design is a gift for me, and it needs to be shared to help other people move into this next global cycle. And that's something that we're also going to talk about in the 2024 yearly forecast, because I'm preparing you guys. That's what my design is here to do, unfortunately. Okay. It's not easy, to do this stuff. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. Entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart.
Nope.
There's a reason why. The channel of surrender, which is also the channel of the entrepreneur, goes from the spleen to the heart. You have to have the will to keep going. So I was built to help people in the apocalypse. I feel like I would do really great in like a zombie apocalypse.
I think so. Yeah. I'd be in your bunker wherever you go.
Yeah. I'm smell cognition, I'm a vessel of love. I'm not going to steer you on the wrong path. And I really see the holes. I can really see where people get tripped up.
Yeah.
So anywho, we went into a lot of different directions.
Where did we even go?
So sorry. I'm like going to tell Leah to like cut 90% of the shit out. Probably we'll keep it.
We'll keep it.
It's
you guys get to hear us, go on side tangents all the time. That's what we do.
Yeah. Well, it's what I do mostly.
You do. And then I follow you. We're We're like a happy little train. They just do.
Yeah. So I guess let's move to our next segment, and we'll keep this one a little on the shorter side.
Mhm.
Okay. So if you guys don't know our next segment, it's called True View High, Transferred View Low. So our view is connected to our variables, those 4 arrows at the top of your chart. I hope you have your body graph, or at least a body graph, open right now while we're going through the transits. Highly recommend Genetic Matrix. I actually just found out recently that I think his name is John. Oh, I hope I think, isn't his name John, the creator of Genetic Matrix?
I'm not sure.
Manifester. He's a manifester, that I know for sure.
Mhm.
He was a student of Ra.
Oh,
I didn't know
that's
that.
nice.
Yeah, I just found that out.
Hmm.
I knew he was a manifester. And I love Genetic Matrix. They have like 5 million quadrillion charts you can create.
Wow.
I think he's done a phenomenal job with it. He's definitely always trying to improve,
Yeah.
and I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So
It's a
shout
great.
out to possibly John, Genetic Matrix. We have a link down below too if you want to check out
Yeah.
Genetic Matrix. I feel like he's the best with the creation of the variables and the setup of that aesthetically. I think
Oh,
it's
yeah, I agree.
I think it's correct. It
Hmm.
feels good for me when I look at it. So if you're looking at the variables, those 4 arrows up at the top, that bottom right arrow is called your view perspective. Okay. It is the lens, your glasses, in which the way you see the world. Okay. And so you have your true view of where they're actually connected to your nodes. So they set you on the trajectory upward, right? Or when you transfer, you can just get stuck in the south node, get stuck in the mental chatter, get stuck in the mind. And so we like to play a game, true view high, kind of transfer view low, similar to rose and thorn, the highs and lows of the week. This one's going to be a little harder for us because we are recording this way early because
Yeah.
Leah, as you're listening or watching this, Leah will have just gotten surgery. So we're trying to get stuff recorded before that. Definitely go wish Leah well over on her Instagram, the Splenic
Thank you.
Projector, because she's getting shoulder surgery, guys. Okay.
Yeah. I'll be
So
one-handed for a while, but
yeah,
we wanted to get this done before, so
so you have less strain on the body.
yeah.
So, okay. So who's going first?
I can go first. Mine's really quick. So while transferred survival, I don't think I'm stuck there as much. Sometimes I get really stuck in that survival mode. But I think for survival lately, it's just been like feeling a little bit nervous about surgery and like, but it's all normal. Like, and then my wanting is like, I know already what's happened and I know that my recovery process will be a little bit longer, but I can see how I've let go of a lot more things this time around. Like you helped me like actually see the patterns that were coming, cycling around the last couple of years. And I fully let go of my cleaning business, which was tough, but also I know it needed to happen so that my body can heal correctly. And I know that, yeah, I do feel a lot better about it. And I feel like, that's was a good chapter of my life. I met a lot of awesome people and I had a fun time with it until I started hurting. But then I realized, I'm not meant to be working like a sacral or defined root being. I'm here to be a projector. And so allowing myself to like see what the future holds and getting excited about this next year. And I know it's going to be a tough couple months, but I'm looking forward to getting past all of this. So yeah,
you're really allowing yourself to want. Leah's wanting view and her transferred is survival.
I forgot to say that. Sorry.
She's in the process of removing the survival right now with that shoulder
Yeah.
surgery.
Yeah.
And she's looking towards the future, which is interesting because I forget what tone that is, what that your sense is in the view.
Acceptance.
Okay, so it's a solar plexus.
Yeah.
And then you also have inner vision over on, what is it, in your environment?
Environment, yeah.
And so it's a it's like a cyclical process for you. And like you've gone through a few cycles with things, but now you can really see through that inner vision and through accepting
Yeah.
that there's actually a better path.
I think that's like, and I've been doing human design stuff for what, 3.5 years or
Yeah.
something like that. I haven't kept track. I should probably look.
Something
I
like
have a
that.
notebook somewhere on my desk,
I'm
probably that
like,
has like my
it's
very
been like
first.
1 year, guys, right? It's been 20 years, Krystle.
That's crazy. So I feel like I'm just now getting to the point where things are starting to really, really decondition. It takes a long time.
I think
So
it's 3 years. People, and
yeah,
this is, oh, we should do an episode on this because
that could
I
be a
will
whole
fucking
other.
nail people. I'm sorry. I get really pissed. And if this is you, I'm not trying to personally attack you. It's just I'm gonna ask you to contemplate what I'm about to say. Okay. I'm never intentionally trying to be a dick. I think I should always unless you poke me, then you should run. But we're not gonna get into that. But if you just learned about human design, like if you are in your first year, let's just say that, okay? It's not your first year is really not the best time to start sharing human design as, let's say, like in a business. If you want, like, let's say you're a business coach. Let's kind of like give a visual here. Let's say you are a business coach and you just discovered human design. Um, and you want to provide it for your clients. I think that's a beautiful thing to have an extra tool to help your clients. But I would really do yourself a service and at least wait a good year. Or if you want to implement maybe just the types to them and explain that, but don't start trying to read people's charts in business sessions when you're under a year. I say this with love. What I'm about to say, I say it with so much love. You know nothing. I cannot stress that enough. It really takes and you'll hear this from actually other human design people. It's not just me. It really takes a good 3 years. If you
Mhm.
think about the lines, and I would encourage people that are at the beginning of the journey to really understand the lines 1 through 6. Okay. Because that is the foundation of the entire body graph. The lines 1 through 6 are running through the entire body graph. It is literally the foundation of human design. And I would say that is the first place to start, aside from type and strategy and authority.
Yeah.
Because if you understand the foundation of what each line means, you actually will then understand the variables when you start moving towards that aspect. You'll understand the gates because there are lines connected to each of the gates, and you'll see there's actually a pattern between them, and it's running. It holds the same essence wherever it moves. It just turns into like a different color. Okay, so you really want to be clear that you actually understand the foundation material, and then you've experimented with it, because that's
Right.
all this is. And once you start experimenting with it, that's when the deconditioning starts. And what you think you know is what you actually don't know.
Right.
It's like I know this sounds
True.
crazy, and I know that it sounds like I'm speaking in riddles, and I know it sounds like I'm throwing people under the bus, but I've been in my experiment for almost 7 years now. The person I was 7 years ago wouldn't even recognize the person I am now. And I know that we're constantly changing and evolving. And you could say that about someone that doesn't know human design. But I will have to say, from looking back on my life, when I look back on my life before finding human design, and be like, oh, I'm a different person than I was 7 years ago. This is completely different than that. I can't like I can't explain it. You have to go through the process. You have to go through the process to understand that when you are 3 years or under in your human design experiment, you're a baby. You are a baby.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm not saying that there aren't like savants out there that like just, I don't know, naturally get this stuff. I think that because I have a Kabbalistic background that I did get this at a deeper level from the beginning, but looking back, I still knew nothing. I knew nothing, and I would still say I know nothing, to be honest,
Yeah.
because we're constantly growing, we're constantly evolving, and what you know now and what you'll know in 7 years from now, it's vast. And so
Makes a huge difference.
I'm just trying to give some friendly advice that people are probably going to hate me for, but if you are at least the first year in, first year is about investigation. Okay. If you look at it through the lines, I've realized how much the lines are traveling through my experimentation process. And maybe I'll do some content on this to explain this further. But the first year is just investigating. You don't like, yeah, maybe read for some friends if you feel called. You know what I mean? Or like
Yeah.
your family, or look up a million charts. I would definitely suggest that.
Seriously, that
But
helps a lot.
just be very careful. Be very careful if you're
Mm-hmm.
going to go try to start a human design business in your first year, or using this in your business,
Mm-hmm.
because it's such fragile information. And you I just personally, and again, this is just my personal opinion, I wouldn't want to steer anybody down the wrong path when I'm just learning.
Yeah. And that's what I was about to say too. Like you could be genuinely trying to give information that you
Yeah.
learned because you're excited about it.
Yeah.
But also sometimes it's possible that we've learned information incorrectly.
Or we
You know,
just
if you're
incorrectly, or you just haven't
or we
integrated yet.
interpret it and you haven't integrated it into your life, or you haven't experienced it, or you haven't seen it
Yeah.
with somebody else. You know, so I know for myself, I was like, I'm going to be a human design reader. And like, I had built a website and I did all this stuff and it was really fun, except for my defined throat can't handle talking to someone straight for a whole hour.
Yeah.
That was one thing. Two, I was fumbling on myself. And so people were getting more confused.
Yeah.
Because my defined ajna was like, well, I don't know what I'm saying. And so this is myself. I'm not speaking for anybody else. I was just getting more confused. And like people love the information, but they were like, well, now I have too much stuff to think about. And now I'm more confused than I was when I started. Whereas if maybe we just had a conversation about it and we could just kind of like have a fun time with it, it would have been different. But I was like, yes, this is going to be it.
Yeah, this is what I'm doing. I feel like a lot of people do that. And I've seen actually some people make content around that too, of like, not everybody has to be a human design reader.
No, you don't.
I think
It seems like the only
it.
place that it seems like that's what you should do. Like you find human design and then you read for other people, but that's not everybody's path. You don't have to do that.
Everybody's built for that.
No.
Like for me, when I look at a chart,
you have some sort of like magic thing that happens. And I sit here and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like how do it's like this flow that just comes out and then it's magical.
Thank you. I really appreciate
that recognition. Go get a reading from Krystle. She's good.
Yeah, I'll be opening. I don't have any more appointments till January. You can always DM me or send me an email and we can chat about when my books will be opening, or pick a date for January if you would like. I'm totally open to doing that. But I don't have anything till January. But I guess we can move into mine. I'm sorry. We were saying we were
keep
short
going.
and like 5 hours later, we're still talking. Okay. So I had mine and I didn't write it down. And I sort of lost it for my true view. And I'm trying to remember what it was. It's like when all of a sudden the spotlight's on me, my open head, just like everything falls out. And I think, but like, the open head thinks, and the undefined ajna thinks it's going to remember. But I never do. When it's like I realize it's like short-term pressure. Everything falls out of my head. I don't know if that's just like a human thing. I feel like other people, or maybe it's also I have an undefined root. Like I just don't work well under pressure. Like
Yeah.
things open up here and down here.
Right.
But anyways, okay. So true view. I had one and I'm trying to what I had like actually two, and then both not neither one of them are coming to me. But I guess we'll do transferred and then hopefully I'll figure out the true. So I am power view, true view power, transferred view personal. And so this full moon that we just had in Gemini royally fucked me up. Like royally. And I had to do what I always do and go look at the transits to understand, why am I feeling all of these old mental patterns again? For one, one reason why I knew that of what was happening for me was that Gemini is my Chiron. That's the only Gemini placement that I have. I have very little air actually in my chart, period. And Chiron is such a minor but big player at the same time in our chart.
Yeah.
It's what's hidden. It's the wounded healer, as they call. I actually have a Chiron reading. Definitely would do that in the beginning of the year. People
Mm-hmm.
tell me that those Chiron readings are transformational. That's what I get from feedback from people. So Chiron, I have Chiron and Gemini. So I clearly have a problem with communication. Okay. I have a completely open throat, which I say is my biggest wound. And then both of my Chiron gates are actually in my throat as well for funsies.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. So it's like it's like if you want to know what your problems are, learn human design and astrology.
Yeah.
And they will show, like, you already know this is your problem. You know what I mean? But if you want
Right.
confirmation and then you want the details,
Yeah.
this design and astrology. You know what I mean? So Chiron was, or and is still conjunct my moon. I actually said in my stories yesterday it was my sun, and I meant to say my moon. Just because of the full moon, right? They were right on top of each other. Same for you, actually,
Mm-hmm.
because we both have Chiron and Gemini. So they've been hanging out, and actually, this is going to be, I think, a 6-month transit. Chiron's also retrograde right now for funsies as well. So,
Cool.
all of these mental patterns came up for me, and I actually have been, and I've been talking to you about this personally, that I really want to change things in the way in which I communicate and boundaries on communication.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't figure out, because it's everything starts out as mental for a lot of things, right? You get a little thought, and then everyone thinks they have to go take action. What human design teaches you is how to wait, right? And so I'm like, I know something needs to change. I just don't know where to go yet or what that's going to be. And then all of a sudden, I see somebody say something, and it's in a new way. Okay, I'm going to be very discreet about this right now. I highly recommend following me on Journey Through HD, and you'll learn about what I'm talking about. And I actually figured out what I'm going to do to share this information. I have a very important message that I want to share with my audience. So if you want to join me over on Journey Through HD, I think I'm going to pin it in my highlights, actually. So if you miss the story, you'll still be able to catch it. Okay, so I saw this setup. Okay, we'll just say that. And all of a sudden, my entire body responded. And it goes, that. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's what I've been waiting for.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't invented yet. It wasn't invented yet. And I knew, but like, when your body knows something's coming and there's like something that needs to happen, but it just hasn't happened yet. That's what the situation was. So I've been waiting now to share this information with my audience, which again, it's going to be in my highlights if you miss the story. Okay. That's going to help me actually heal my throat. You have to get into the right environment if you want to be properly nurtured and nourished and taken care of. And
Mm-hmm.
right now, large aspects of myself are not in the right space.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to do that. So that's been my transference, is going through that whole mental chatter of these old mental loops that need to be healed and the trauma to my throat, and creating those personal stories around that. And so my true view, okay, I have one and I'll remember all the other ones that I had that I thought were better after we get off here.
Right.
But so my oldest son, he's a 1/4 ego manifester, and he is innocence motivation. You might notice if you have children that they have the opposite variables as you, because they're your teachers, right? And you're teaching them, so you learn through each other. And so I'm desire, he's innocence, and he also we create the emotional channel of community together. And he has the 37 and I have the 40, and the 40 is actually my core wound. And so he really has come to help me heal. He was born during my Saturn return. If you have a child that was born during your Saturn return, they are your biggest teachers in life. Okay, not to say that your kids aren't, but like that child is my biggest teacher and my biggest supporter. And so he's been helping me be in my power by initiating me lately. And it's been going on for a while, but like I feel like I've really just with the state of the world right now, I needed this. He's been initiating me to watch all these 90s sitcoms. Right now we are watching Full House.
Oh, I love it.
And so I encourage you guys to watch 90s sitcoms with your kids. He loves them, loves it, loves all these shows. So we're watching Full House. It's very wholesome. It's very channel of community. I feel like that show,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so he's really been nurturing and like healing these transfer things that I was just telling you about on the other end. So that's been what we every night we watch at least 1 or 2 to 3 episodes together.
That's cool.
Yeah. So that's my I feel like I'm like, what is this episode gonna be? You know what I mean?
So funny.
But anyways, so let's move over to the segment you guys have been waiting for. We're gonna do the program recap. Hi there. We wanted to share with you more ways to connect with us and our free and paid resources and offers that will help you elevate your life and begin to tap into your fullest potential to live out your dreams. First up, we have created a free tips and tricks to understanding your strategy and authority and a free crash course on the transits that you can find in our beginner's path on our website in the show notes down below. And if you're ready to get a deeper understanding of the human design language and how to apply this to your very own chart, check out our user manual to your true self. And if you've been studying human design for a while and ready to lift up the hood of your vehicle and take a peek inside to better understand your process, we have created a mini variables class on the 4 radical transformations. Now, we do not have view or motivation available to purchase, but we have recently developed a kick-ass variable intensive called the Color Code Variable Intensive. That is a 5-week journey through the radical 4 transformations. And because our last round went so well that I can't even put into words, I can't even describe, but we are doing it again this fall. So please make sure you are subscribed to our email list because early bird enrollment is about to be made available. And lastly, if you are interested in one-on-ones with me, Krystle, then check out my readings on our website down below to snag one of my reading spots or email us the word waitlist to be added to the next available openings as I get booked up very quickly. And everything else that you might be interested in, you can find on our website, humandesignastro.com. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel for some prime education. Now let's go listen to the rest of this captivating episode. So let's move over to there now. So this is the week of the 11th, December 11th, 2023. We're almost out, but we won't really be out. Just, again, the first 6 months of 2024 are going to be a shit show. Basically, everything we've been going through for these last 6 months, it's trickling over to 2024. Okay. Not to be a Debbie Downer. I'm just being realistic. It's hard when like you're like a realist, but you're also like pessimistic because it's like not great times right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm not going to BS you guys. I think you guys know that by now. I'm not a BSer, and if you think that I am, then I'm probably not for you. You know what I mean? But anywho, the 11th. Here we go. So we kick off the week with an overflow of last week's program. Okay, so it overflowed into this week. So definitely go listen to last week's episode if you want to hear a little bit more details about what I'm about to say, because I'm just going to do a wrap up for this one. So our focus for the beginning of this week is all about experimentation. Okay, through the way you sell, through the way you influence other people. Okay. How can you sell or say things in a way that will land for other people? What will ground you and support you in that is going to be your voice. Okay. Directing people to what you have to offer them, whether that be in business, whether that be in relationships, whether that be in your career, your job, and speaking with impact. Okay. How do you want to influence other people this week? That's a question to ask. And then on Tuesday, the 12th, we get new moon Sagittarius. Okay. Waiting for this one. I am Sagittarius sun. Again, my birthday's on the 20th. And so new moons are all about new beginnings, planting the seeds for the next 6 months, really being intentional. And that's the key word for this new moon, intentional. Okay. Being intentional about how you want your life to go. This is where you get to co-create with the universe. And Sagittarius, as you may or may not know, has no boundaries. Okay. And so Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, and it's the arrow that's being shot off into the unknown. Okay. Often associated with luck. People tend to think Sagittarius are pretty lucky people. And I guess in a way we are. And sometimes the complete opposite. Okay. There's always duality, but this is a mutable fire sign. Fire is all about taking action. So, what action can you take during this cycle that is going to provide more prosperity and abundance for you? How can you set yourself up for success? After all, this will be pouring into 2024. So, you're basically setting yourself up for this next year. This is going to be about censorship. Okay. I know that sounds weird for Sagittarius. Censorship and the connection you have with others. There's going to be this feeling of needing to protect one's words. Okay. We're seeing a lot of words being flown around these days, but this is about your words in relation to your memory. Okay. I think this is offering a chance to be more, again, the key word for this new moon, intentional with your words on the way you express yourself. Sometimes we give too much or too much detail. This new moon wants you to keep it simple. Get curious, but get intentional. We'll discuss more in the program breakdown and what gate this new moon will be activated through. Our program breakdown is our accompanied guide that is your roadmap to success, that we actually go into the details in the guide. We talk about the gates. We give a broader description. We give you questions to ask yourself. It's free. You can, all you have to do is subscribe to our email. You can subscribe to our email in the show notes down below. And every other week that this episode drops, we also email you the program breakdown. Okay. So, that's what's happening for that program, or for the new moon. And just to make things more confusing. Okay. Because this year, again, the end of this year is just like, what the fuck? I think that should just be the question of what's going on right now. What the fuck? Okay. So to make things, to end with a bang, I guess, we have Mercury going retrograde. Okay. So on the 12th and the 13th, depending on where you are in the world, Mercury is stationing retrograde. Okay. So where was I? So you might have noticed all of the retrogrades were in earth signs in 2023. We've been restructuring systems, restructuring the way we live, the way we enjoy life. And next year, if you didn't know, in 2024, that we'll discuss in the yearly forecast, those Mercury retrogrades will actually be in fire signs. I have a lot of thoughts about this, a lot of thoughts about how this is going to work. So Mercury retrograde for this particular retrograde will be happening in Capricorn, and then back into Sagittarius okay. Capricorn is a cardinal earth sign and really wants us to direct our attention and look back on our material world and our systems and our structures and how we pressure ourselves in that regard. We are going to be doing a lot of, unfortunately, root work, okay? The work that nobody wants to do, all right? And this is going to trickle over into 2024. And this, my friends, is just the beginning, okay? We'll discuss what gate we are kicking this retrograde off in the program breakdown, okay? And then on Thursday, December 14th, we get a new program with a focus on the mind, this time, peace and ideas. We're going to reimagine, which I think this is actually a great gate to come in during this retrograde. We are going to reimagine with this program, forming new ideas through the review of Mercury retrograde that's making you take a look at your old ideas. And what's going to ground and support you is your voice. Don't allow the mental chatter or clutter to be the reason you don't express yourself. This activation needs to feel like it's being heard or listened to. Find safety in those that truly see you, that will help you declutter your mind by expressing those mental thought patterns. Okay? I can't, you're going to feel like you want to block every bitch when this program comes in. I actually love watching when this gate comes in because I just scroll through my Instagram and I see everybody talking about safety and expression and not wanting other people to be involved in their conversations that don't actually truly see them. This gate can feel like nobody's listening to me a lot. That's the low end of this gate. It's also connected to it's reaching for emotions. So just be very mindful during this program about who you're speaking to. Okay. And don't let the mental chatter of I need to go, speaking to myself, I need to go through and remove every single person in my life. I watch a lot of people do this. It will pass. Okay. So that was a message for myself. So let's jump to the next week, the week of the 18th. The next programming begins actually on my birthday. You guys should know what this date is by now, the 20th. Okay. So mark your calendars, December 20th, we get a new program with a focus on love, because I am a vessel of love. Okay. So we're going to be focusing on our hearts and the love of self. Oh, do I know this gate? I really do. Self-love is hard, and this activation actually sets the tone. If you don't know this, I'm about to give you guys some educational details here on human design. This particular gate actually sets the tone for all the other gates in the body graph. Okay? Without love of self, what are we? Okay? So this will be the focus, to fall in love with yourself and your life so much that it actually overflows into the other. And that's actually what's grounding us. Okay? This is deeply individual. This is the vessel of love. And what's going to help support you is actually more love. Okay. So this is all about, but this is a broader love. Okay. This is the love of extremes. This is the love of the cycles. This is the love of humanity. Okay. We see how extreme humanity can go, right? We are witnessing it with the world right now. But the truth is, fixed patterns can be broken in order to adjust to changing circumstances. Remember how we just went through a program about patterns and habits? This is the connection to that. This is the completion of really allowing that change to enter the heart. Really allowing those habits and new patterns that we've been working on, right? We've been working on all these new patterns, so much work we're doing at the end of this year. This is the closeout of that. How can you let that ripple effect actually enter your heart? Tiferet, okay? That's actually what the Kabbalah tree of life sphere that's connected to human design is saying. That's what we're moving towards. That is the entire goal of being human. The body graph itself is a gaming system, okay? I might have just lost everybody, but I don't care. I'm going to say this right now. And one day I'm going to actually put out this class to the public, but nobody's ready for this right now, so I can't. I gave it to the cosmic community, and I know that some of them, they weren't ready for it either, but the ones that got it really got it. And it's something that takes time to understand. Kabbalah runs so deep. It's even denser than human design because it is the foundation of life itself. And the sole purpose of being on this planet is to love, to remember the love, to remember that we are just fragments of the whole. And so our goal is to work our way back up to the heart, to Tiferet, the G center, the higher self, the magnetic monopole. That is what we are working towards. We have to realize that this is an illusion and that we're here to remember who we are and that we are everything. We are everything that you see and that you feel on this planet. We are so connected, but we've forgotten. And so we're going to go through all these life trials and experiences, and we're climbing our way from the root back up to the heart, to Tiferet. Allow yourself to be love. It is when you can be love that everything else is love too. So, sorry. Vessel of Love had to go on a fucking tangent there. So it's just like if you get me talking about these gates, I will talk for literally 12 hours. Okay, maybe 12 years. I don't know. But we need to remember this. It drives me mad that people do not understand this because that's the problem. The problem is that we forgot how to love and that we are already love. And so this whole life is a remembering of that. And so when you can finally climb your way back up to the heart, you can allow the magnetic monopole and your higher self, which is gate 2, by the way, in the heart, right here below the sternum. Maybe you can feel it, that little thread. I know all the defined G's feel it. The open undefined G's are like, sometimes. But you can feel that thread that is pulling you towards something. We've forgotten to allow flow back into our life. So anyways, I'll end with telling you there is a cosmic opening this month, okay? But I'm going to be a defined heart right now. And because I've been talking so much, I'm going to invite you to get on our email list, get the program breakdown, because that's where I'm going to tell you what the cosmic opening is. Okay. I'm going to leave that for our people that really want to hear this message. So if you would like the message of the cosmic opening that's coming in at the end of the month on the 22nd, okay, please get on our email list. I will support you. And so I'll stop talking now and I'm going to pass it over to Leah.
I love your defined heart rants. They make me happy. We all need to hear those kind of messages.
I know.
All right, so let's hop into the tarot. Again, this is my second week of doing this a new way, and I got some really good feedback on this. So thank you guys for whoever messaged, everyone who messaged, and I like it too. I feel like this is really helpful. It gets more specific. So for the first type, I have manifestors. We have the Six of Wands. And I really want the manifestors to ask yourself, where can I take charge and inspire others these next 2 weeks? Some things have been probably shifting for you lately, and or you are helping others shift the energy in their life. And you can kind of see on the card here, there's like a knight or a person on this horse, and they're kind of like parading, they're like, we're taking the lead. We're going to inspire others with our love for whatever it is that we're doing. So what activity or inspiring idea is coming up for you right now? And where can you show that confidence? You sit upright, change your posture, do something that kind of shifts that energy to show others confidence, understanding with yourself and with others, and really bring you that manifestor peace. I think that's really important these next couple of weeks, is to see what is it that's bringing you peace. The downside of this card could be that you're too confident, or you're overdoing it somewhere. You're over boastful or proud, or something that people are kind of feeling that like resistance towards you. So where can you find that balance of like, I want to be showing my confidence and helping others find their confidence too, because there can still be a lot more to do. I mean, maybe you're not at the end of whatever project or journey that you're working on. There's still more space to take. So don't get ahead of yourself right now. Don't let your plans get stale either. So like, don't just sit around and wait for things to come to you. And try not to jump to the finish line and get things done without taking all the steps that need to be taken. And then follow your urges. What are the urges that are coming up for you, and how can you use those urges to take it to the next step? So then for the next type, we have generators and manifesting generators. We have the Ace of Cups. And I think you said this too, like, how can you fill your own cup? The Ace of Cups is about inspiration. What are things that are inspiring you lately? What parts of your life do you need to fill your cup first so that you can pour into others? Because a depleted sacral being does no good for anybody. I'll tell you, depleted sacral beings we need you guys. We need you to help us, our undefined sacral beings, to just move and push things, through. You're our light. You got to be filling your own cup.
You can just say it. Frustrated. You could just say it's okay. I'm just gonna say what Leah's thinking. We're the worst. Frustrated.
Yeah.
Sacral beings are the worst. Aside from a better projector, though, that hands down will take somebody down.
For sure. Yeah.
Just because that aura is penetrating, so a bitter projector will take somebody.
It's outward. Yeah.
But if you look at the planet, and that's approximately 70% of the population are sacral beings, we're the one fucking everything up in the grand scheme of things. And that's one of the reasons why I one of my missions is to wake up the sacrals, which I mean, I feel like it's going to be in a lifetime of me trying to do that. Because we can be the most asleep, and the generator is the hardest to break, I believe, because we are so set on our rhythms.
Yeah.
So to break a rhythm is to break a habit. To break a habit, the person has to be aware.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough. So I would say for this Ace of Cups for the next couple weeks for the sacral beings is to find some things that bring you some joy, some peace, some excitement for yourself, and do something fun. Go do a fun project, start some sort of activity, move your body. It could be exercise. It could be getting outside. I mean, it's so good to get outside and just put your feet on the ground, whether it's icy and you don't want to put your bare feet on the ground, or if you're in a place that's nice and you can go walk outside barefoot. I would suggest doing that. You could do singing, you could dance, you could talk to yourself, you could be silly, you could just shake it all off, like shake off that stagnant energy and start pouring into yourself. So start pouring into your cup so that you can help others see that, that shiny, bright light that you are, and allow yourself to receive. There's a lot there too.
I think one of the biggest challenges with generators is that we have been conditioned to work hard to play hard.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the fool's game. Okay, that's the illusion. It's actually you do the opposite.
The opposite.
Opposite. Play hard to actually work correct.
Right.
I don't want to say less because it might not be less. We need consistency, but it's to do the correct work. There's so many generators out there that are working because they have to get a paycheck. That stuff isn't. We don't have a choice over. That we do have to have money coming in from something, but it's like that's why I think people should monetize their gifts. If you want to, some people don't. If you want to, like, if not, sometimes when you monetize your gifts, it can take the fun out of it. And I'm not telling you to do that. If it, and this is just maybe my channel is surrender speaking, but if there is a way for you to monetize your gifts where you feel good about it, I would say do it. And I feel like generators need to be doing work that they love. So if you can kind of combine that in some way, or at least have a job that's paying the paycheck, that you have like this beautiful hobby.
Yeah, exactly.
That you are doing consistently as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
What new habits can you form, generators? That's important.
Great question. Yeah. Thank you. So for projectors, we have the 10 of Pentacles. And if you guys didn't know, on Spotify, you can see us in a video form now. You can also watch us on YouTube, but we're also in video form on Spotify. So if you can look at the picture, I guess, of the cards and us when you want to watch, the 10 of Pentacles is all about family and relationships and interacting with those around you, who is in your environment, your circle. It's also it's about abundance. The 10 and the pictures on here show a lot of this. There's like grapes and stuff on this guy's cloak. There's puppies, there's people dancing and having fun. So this is, holiday times. If you're interacting with your family, how can you, create abundance in your life? How can you, look around and see where you are abundant? And because sometimes we can have a hard time seeing all of that. So creating, and you've been working on creating the life of your dreams, or you're working toward creating some sort of like abundance around you. So don't give up on those dreams. What is it that's circling you that you can kind of wait for that invitation, wait for that recognition? Because the people that you surround yourself, you be very intentional with who you surround yourself with, allow into your circle for people that see you, people that recognize you, and people who believe in you at your core, because we need to be surrounded by people who can hear us and see us and want to be guided by us, because we have that, aura that's very, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm blanking on the word.
Penetrating.
I don't know why I couldn't find the word in my head. It just left. Aura. So, if people aren't accepting of who you are, then you just need to maybe set some boundaries on those people. And, it's hard with its family, but it's important for you to also understand those boundaries with the people who you surround yourself with. And then lastly, we have reflectors and have wow, my light is so bright. The star, the star is for the reflectors. This is a beautiful time for you to look around and see how you are nurturing yourself and your environment. You'll see on the card here, she's pouring into the earth, and she's also pouring into this river, which the water is really about emotions and the self. And so how are you nurturing yourself? Environment is really important for you. And I would encourage you to pay really close attention to the transits right now and these next few weeks to see how certain things play out in your life. I mean, as a reflector, you should be watching, all of the transits and the moon cycles and everything as it is, because it's really important for you to understand how these aspects impact your life. But I would say right now is really important too, because you are such an intuitive being, and the star card is a very intuitive card, and it's asking you to kind of allow it to be a guide for you to take notice of who you have an impact around right now. Notice your emotions. So that could be the transits and how they are impacting you. And I would say maybe don't let others' emotions interfere with your actions. So because there is a lot of water on this card, you could be being impacted by others' emotions, their projections, or their opinions or their feelings on something that you're doing right now. So I would just say, just take it as a grain of salt and keep calm, allowing yourself the emotions that you feel to flow so that things can kind of move along. And I guess if you've been feeling stuck, the star card really encourages you to take some moments to settle into yourself, settle into your own aura, do some meditations, some guided meditations, really focus on your inner voice, your guides, whoever it is that you're connecting with. And they can kind of show you where that stagnation is feeling. So I hope that's helpful. That's all I have.
Let us know. Don't forget to give this episode, if you're over on YouTube, a big thumbs up, write us a comment, make sure you subscribe in all the places. Follow me on Journey Through HD on Instagram, Leah, the Splenic Projector, and together we are Human Design Astro Club. And so we hope you guys have a happy holiday. I guess the next episode is dropping out on Christmas.
Woohoo. Oh yeah, that is a Monday.
Yeah, I realized that. So yeah, happy holidays to everybody. And I guess we'll see you on Christmas. Okay. So
right.
We'll see you over on the next one, guys. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Bye. Thank you for tuning into today's episode of our podcast on the Human Design and Astro Club. We hope you have found the information insightful and useful. If you enjoyed the show, please consider leaving us a review and sharing it with your friends and family. We love to hear from our listeners, so feel free to reach out to us with any feedback, questions, or suggestions for future episodes. Until next time, thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.